All right, yay! It happened. All right, people, a pleasure and a privilege to see you. Hello, Packer. How are you, son? Okay, take your time. It's all right.
I'm all good. I'm all good. Just want to unmute
Yeah.
myself. Thank you. Lovely week.
You've
You all right?
outstarched me on the shirt, and also you've outlit me as well. I mean, this was made bespoke out in Cambodia, but I changed size so much after I stopped giving myself tendonitis and trying to lift the weights of a man half my age, 18. But yeah, you're all right, are you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm not going to crack. You're quite quiet, but it might be me, so don't do anything unless people in the chat say that you're quiet. Do a little testing.
Testing. 1 2 1 2.
Is Packer all right, people? Is he sort of on the same kind of volume as me?
Is it proper big strong one?
Right, people, listen. Paul Salmon is doing a charity run. I will put it on X. I'll put it in the YouTube posts, and I'll put it in some other places because I find, Paul, if you're watching this is from 12 years of streaming. In videos, people are looking at something else and they just drift past it. But I will do it, people. So look out for that. Paul Salmon is doing it for, I think it's a cancer charity, and with something like half of us likely to get cancer, even a couple of quid. New short coming out on Substack. Should have been today. It's amazing. I was talking to, I think it might have been on here actually. I might have been talking to Packer. I don't want to give too much away, but did I talk to you about the ant? The ant? No. Oh, I was talking to someone. I thought actually that's a cracking story. Like a really odd day out. But that story will also be accompanied by the paid Substack option. Now, if you're not a paid Substacker, if you're already subscribed, if you're one of the 1,600 people that are subscribed, you don't lose anything. You'll still get your one story a week. I'll also drop a couple of the stuff from the paid section in just occasionally, so that because it's a nice thing to do. But for the price of a cup of coffee a month, you're going to get 2 stories a month, written and audio. I'll be doing the audio, and when I read my stories, I'll be adding bits. I'll be digressing and doing little bits. So you'll sort of get an audio version of the written work, but almost like a bit of stand up, because that's how I've done my stand up. I just told stories and digressed a bit. There's also a writing course that I wrote years ago and taught years ago. There'll be live streams basically, and what I'll do, I'll arrange those so that if you can't get there live, I'll do the same one 2 or 3 times at different times a day in the month. So there's one lesson a month, and that'll probably be 6, 7, 8. It depends how it goes really. So there's that. There's also a few other things, but all of that will be in the email with the new story that will go out tomorrow. So even if you're not interested in the story, but you should be, it's an absolute cracker. I'm going to guarantee it. Right, we're going to get right into this, and I've got to give a few trigger warnings actually there. Lovely to see loads of new people, but we've had loads of new subscribers lately. It's a privilege and a pleasure to welcome you to this amazing community that we've been building up for nearly 12 years. And as long as as long as you've got standards, you're welcome here. Don't have to agree with me, don't have to agree with everyone or anyone, but just don't be an arsehole, because there's plenty of them about, and we come here to engage and to chat and to learn and to challenge. Got a shocker of a video we're going to react today. It's actually Shoe on Head. Remember Shoe on Head? Would tap. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anyone who wouldn't. So I don't know why I said unfortunately there, but I didn't mention it in the title. So when you see her head on the thumbnail, you're oh, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Well, there it does. Oh yeah, I've got one other funny story to tell you. So in my early 20s, I was reading books by an author called Jerry Stahl. And Jerry Stahl wrote Permanent Midnight, which was a Hollywood movie. And he was a Hollywood screenwriter. He wrote Moonlighting. Remember Moonlighting with, what's his name, Packer? Yeah, you know, from Die Hard, Bruce Willis. And, you know, it was a big deal Moonlighting. But while he was writing that, he was on the crack and the smack and anything he could take, really, and the booze. And it was a real mess. But Permanent Midnight meant a lot to me because it gave me something to hang on to at a time when I was flailing and I didn't, you know, there was a little bit of hope there. And so he reads my novel, and we're now building up a relationship. He asked for me email, like, let's get off of social media, and I'm like, I can't, you know. I told him as well, I don't fuck about. I say it's weird, man. 30 years ago, I'm reading your novels, and now you're reading mine. And he wrote me this review. I know I don't. I've got a new novel coming out in November, the one I've been banging on about for 10 years. So this will end shortly. You'll get about a week break and then it'll all start again. But where is it? Oh, you might be lucky. I might not have it here. Well, he wrote me this absolutely cracking review. He likened the novel to Catcher in the Rye. He said it was like Catcher in the Rye, but reimagined by Celine, Bukowski, and Satan. He said it's impossible not to love this novel, buy it immediately. So I rinse as much as I can out of that. I put it on X, I put it on YouTube posts, I put it on Instagram. You know, when you get a review from someone like Stahl, you have to use it. He knows that. He knows I'm going to do that. And then I'm making a TikTok video where I read the review out. And I suddenly remember, and me and him haven't mentioned this, there's a whole bit in Love in the Time of Nudie Mag, the novel in question. There's a whole bit where he says about moonlighting. And I really slag it off. I mean, the character's 14, but so I forgot, and we haven't breached this subject in conversation. I haven't yet said to him, "What did you make about the bit where I said moonlighting was cack?" And you know, I think he'll probably say something like, "Yeah, I know it was. I was a smackhead, and I was writing that." Whole series an hour before I had to hand it in. But yeah, it was it's weird. It's a weird turnout, but very happy about it. Right, there's that. The grift, you can use Buy Me a Coffee. You can use the QR code above Packer's head there. He's indicating it now. Amazing. That's actually up on his wall in his house. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but that's actually on a frame. There's a link to Buy Me a Coffee at the bottom of the chat. I think it is now, the YouTube chat, or you can use you know, the old super chats. I am now a full-time writer and YouTuber, so this is how I earn a living. So if you want to and can afford to, I'd appreciate any donations you want to give. If you do use Buy Me a Coffee, put it in the chat. Packer will likely spot it. He'll tell me, and I'll get you a moment of glory on the screen, or at least acknowledge it. And then later I'll do you a video reply, because I get to do that with Buy Me a Coffee. If there's anything important you want to say, get it in the chat. See, people think Packer does nothing, but these are the sorts of things he does. Get it in the chat if there's something you think I've missed or got wrong. Packer will tell me, because he's Picard, Captain Picard of the Starship Dangerfield. Exactly, Walt. Exactly. Hello, Shane. Long time no see. Good to see you, mate. Right, we are going to react to... So this is a real trigger warning, because I want to protect myself and this channel, because it means a lot to me and the community. This is a video from Shoe on Head. I mean, just saying that name is proper Gamergate. Shoe on Head. What was her fella called? He must be long gone now. he ended up doing like film reviews, like Barry Norman sitting in a chair going, like nerdrotic, and the critical drinker it wasn't. Let's just say that. But I can't imagine she's still with him. What was I going to say? Right. So this is Shoe on Head. The reason I'm reacting to Shoe on Head's video is because she's done the hard work, because she's got like 2.5, 3, 4 million subscribers, something ridiculous. It's her job. She's got an editing crew and a research team, and they collect all the TikToks and all the posts so that I don't have to do that. So while she's a little bit infuriating, she is good eye candy, and we get all the clips. And what this is, I just listened to a video about Gavin McInnes, of Gavin McInnes talking about black fatigue and just like, and he says, I think this year it's over. White guilt is over. And when I watched this Shoe on Head video, I didn't watch all of it, and we won't watch all of it tonight because it's very long. It's like maybe hour long, and with me gibbering as well, that it'll just go on forever. We'll probably do about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. But some of the things these people say are awful. This is the Karmelo Anthony case, the black fella that stabbed, I've forgotten his name, that's awful. Stabbed a white fella at a camp out and got 35 years for it. And the reaction, absolutely awful. As you'll see, the reactions have been absolutely awful. Austin Metcalf was his name. I think it's important that we keep that name out there. That was poor, not having that locked and loaded. Right, so that's your warning. It's pretty vulgar, vile, lack of impulse control, and I think I think it needs saying that this is a selection of people. This is a selection of people. And I don't think you should judge an entire community on a selection of people. I've seen videos of black coppers talking about black crime and saying things like, you know, if we took the black crime out of this town, I'd be, you know, getting people for dropping litter and things. And so I think there's a certain element that are aware of it. But some of these reactions, so just a quick, I'll just quickly tell you what happened. They were at like a track meet, like, you know, a sports event, a high school sports event. And they're all allocated these different sort of communal tents. And Karmelo Anthony walks into one of the different tents, and they were told, you aren't allowed in other tents. That was like a ground rule. And he just walks in, sits down, like, giving it the large, like, do what I want. And people were like, get out, you're not, you know, including other black people. And he was like, you touch me, you find out. And they were like, oh, you know, here we go again. And so Austin Metcalf has said, come on, just go and just give him a little shove. That was what 13 witnesses, I think, said. You know, like you would. Come on, just get out, go, shoo. You're not allowed in here. And he put his hand in his bag, pulled out a knife, and stabbed him to death. And he got 35 years for it. So that's what happened. And the witnesses include black people. That's what I mean about judging groups. You know, they told the truth. Now we'll get into the video. And I still struggle with some of this stuff. I'm just like, whoa. And you know, I mean, the names are blocked out by Shoe on Head, but they don't care about it. They're happy to put their comments with their name and their face, because to them it's perfectly fine. I don't share that. Right, so here we go. It's actually only half hour long, so we might get through it all. Now, anyone who leaves in the comments, can you like the video, people, please? And if you can hype it, do that. Anyone in the comments says, can you stop interrupting? I just want to watch the video. The link to the video is in the description. So if you'd rather just watch the video, you can. You know, I have to react to it or the video gets taken down because I'm just using someone else's content. So here we go, people. Shoe on head. It's a bizarre star. I haven't cropped it wrongly. It sort of just comes out of nowhere. But it's something else. It really is. If there's any audio issues, let me know and I will do something about it. All right, here we go. Let's get me and Picard on the side there. Let's hide that. And let's roll VT.
Wake up, maggot! It's time for your annual race war! Oh, you didn't want to be in a race war? Well, too bad. You're in.
Right, I'll just stop it there. Are we all good audio? There's a slight lag on StreamYard, but let me know on YouTube if the audio's as good as it can get. Shane, my channel is monetized, but I don't run adverts on my videos. Maybe that's why they don't let you. I'm sure people have hyped my videos, but I don't run adverts on them. That's why I use buy me a coffee and super chats. Good audio, nice one, JP. Good to see her. Oh, without a doubt, Toffee. I mean, she's 35 and she's got younger since she started streaming. I mean, I think she's using some kind of AI filter. I get offered it on StreamYard. It's like, do you want to make yourself look? It's weirdly worded. What they should say is, would you like to look younger and less beaten up? But I can't remember exactly, but they word it as if to sort of say, would you like to look? It's not even attractive. It's worded so that you can select it without feeling like an arsehole. You know, yeah, I want to look younger. I want to look less wrinkles. And they sort of try and sell it to you as, no, it's fine.
Maybe would you like your complexion cleared up? Something like that.
There you go.
Something along those lines, isn't it?
I think it is that, yeah. I think it's something like, would you like your? I think they say complexion. Right. Anyway, here we go. Good call, Packer. Well done remembering that.
One. Your skin color is your uniform, soldier. Black people on this side, white people on this side, Italians. We'll figure it out later. Attention! Which one of you lily lickers mixed the white Monster Energy with the Kool-Aid pineapples? How many times do I have to tell you? No mixing. Now get suited up, soldier. You're heading into your first battle. The comment section of a Nick Fuentes Instagram reel. Godspeed.
I mean, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm not part of this corner of YouTube, but she gets to it. Don't worry. The age-old question. Gavin McInnes on the video I just watched before this, he said, you've had 50 years, you had a good run, but it's over. And I think he's right.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of I am your host, Shoe on Head. You may know me as Timu Boxy, or perhaps the woman who footmogged Hassan Piker.
Someone in the chat tell me about mogged. I'm hearing it all the time. I can't have my custom AI knowing that I don't know what mogged means, but I'm hearing about being foot mogged, I'm hearing about being stream mogged, I'm hearing about being sub mogged. What is it, just like slated or something?
Yeah, I think it's when they just take the piss out of you. And
so, give me a synonym for it.
I can't really. Yeah, well, yeah, so you've got you. There you go. Arklow Rocks is with the kids.
I just saw that and thought, there you go. Oh, good Lord. Is it, JP?
Yes, yeah, it's a gotcha. Yeah.
I'm going to take a bit of JP and a bit of Arklow. Yeah, but Arklow, I like to think I'm,
You know the meaning of the black kid who says that was a violation? You not seen that one? There's a little gif of a black kid and he says that was a violation when something really nailed someone.
Right, and so that's a mogging, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder what the etymology of mogging is. No, I'm with you, Baz. I mean, I'm pretending to understand, but just so we can get on with the video. Oh, hang on a minute. Tony Putin, are you new in these parts? If you are, lovely to have you here. I don't recognise the name. That could be on me, though. But lovely to have you here. Here we go.
Thank you. I know a few of you have come here from that last video, so hello, new friends, and old friends, please say hello to the new friends. Do not scare them away. One of the biggest things that happened when I was gone was the conclusion to the Karmelo.
Hang on a minute, I want to nick that line. Old friends, say hello to the new friends. Don't scare them away. Packer, can you keep that in your head so that I can remember it on every stream? That's a good line for someone with multi-million subscribers. It obviously works.
Karmelo Anthony trial. Now, for those of you who are unaware, for those of you who have no idea what has been going on, don't worry about it, kid. No, but what happened was last year during a Texas high school track meet, Karmelo Anthony, a 19-year-old student, and Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old student, got into a heated dispute after Karmelo entered Austin's tent, which was like a rivalry school's tent. An argument followed, and then allegedly Karmelo said, "Touch me and see what happens," and so Austin shoved him, and Karmelo pulled a knife out, and yeah. Austin then passed away in his brother's arms. Court argued that that use of force with a knife was completely unjustified, that a single shove did not justify a deadly response. During the trial, jurors listened to witnesses' accounts of the events, reviewed video evidence, and after a few days, the jury found Karmelo Anthony guilty, and he was sentenced to 35 years in prison.
That's the other thing, it was a jury trial as well.
And everyone accepted that outcome because they understand how the law works and they respect our justice system. Haha.
Say his name! Karmelo! Say his name! Karmelo!
Only good cracker is a dead cracker. Only good cracker is a dead cracker.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have.
On the off chance you don't know, cracker is a racial slur against white people. It refers to cracking a whip. And to be able to stand in public, knowing you're being videoed, and repeatedly say the only good cracker is a dead cracker. I mean, it's certainly something to consider when we look at race relations in America, I think.
These kinds of face-to-face, emotion-rising, shouting matches really do no good.
In this video, we are going to discuss the insane reactions to the Karmelo Anthony trial, read some tweets, watch some TikToks, as well as debunk a bunch of misinformation because I am just tired of seeing the same ridiculous regurgitated talking points repeat.
Yes, Roger. I mean, they're protected by the Constitution in the US. You say any of that in the UK, you go to prison. I mean, I don't support that, but if you were to, if that was the other way round with a certain word, you would go to prison because you're not allowed to say
it. Ad nauseum by hundreds and thousands of people just believing it as gospel, hyping themselves up into a race war. No, I am not kidding. That is how bad it is getting. Growing up, I was always told not to judge people based on their appearance, that it didn't matter what gender you were, what your sexuality was, didn't matter if you were short or tall or fat or thin. I was always told that skin color was not important, and it's not. But you know what is important?
I watched a video earlier, and some geezer who studies, he's a historian, but he uses history to sort of predict outcomes based on many metrics and, economical, the economy, global movement patterns, all sorts of things. And he said there's, I think it's a 1 in 5 chance of there being a civil war in the UK within the next 20 years. Now, 1 in 5, I mean, that strikes me as, that's quite high, right? That's quite a high likelihood, 1 in 5. If you told me, you can put 100 quid on this.
I would have said it was higher, Chris.
I'm starting to feel like that, actually. I mean, just this week, things are certainly changing. The way people are responding is certainly changing, I think, for sure.
Important, your skin's health. So before we get into the video, let's quickly...
We don't have to watch the advert, although the blonde wig and the big eyes are quite good. They're not eyes, they're glasses. Right, here we go. So let's get this show on the road.
Any more time and get straight into this, shall we? They found him guilty so fast right before Juneteenth. These folks playing in our faces. Karmelo's only crime was not allowing himself to get beat down by a white man. Karmelo will get out of prison. That boy ain't getting out of the grave. If he...
Who would put that? Who would put that on social media? The murderer will get out of prison. So essentially, the implication, the denotation is, oh, he's still got a life. He'll have a life. He won't do 35 years unless he can't control himself in prison. And his impulse control doesn't look great based on what we know about him already. But the Austin Metcalf, now he's dead. I mean, you'd think that was someone saying something negative about Karmelo Anthony. You'd think they're saying, you know, he'll get out of prison, but Austin Metcalf, no, he won't get out of the grave. But no, that's not the context it's been said in. It's been said in a ha, ha, ha kind of context. And this one, look, his only crime was not letting someone give him a little nudge, because that's a fair response, isn't it? Murder them.
By a white man. Karmelo will get out of prison. That boy ain't getting out of the grave. If he kept his hands to himself, he'd still be enjoying his white privilege today. White people are not victims of racism. You can't be a victim of a system you created. Hey.
And I'll tell you what, she's got loads of these. We're going to see loads of these. But because I wanted to make sure she wasn't like cherry picking in the extreme, I done the searches on X. I done the searches on TikTok. There's fucking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, and the likes and the responses. That these aren't just sort of odd posts that are floating around in the no viewer sphere. People have, like, you know, 20,000 likes and just everyone in the comments agreeing, and no one's got the balls to disagree, because they know they'll be shutting down that account tomorrow because it'll be completely mogged.
23-year-old white guy who...
My point is, she hasn't been cherry picking. This stuff is everywhere. Go and have a look later if you don't believe me.
Can't find a job and still lives with your parents. Did you know you created the entire system we're in right now, and therefore it's totally acceptable to hate you and be racist towards you? This is the same stupid shit they say to men, like, oh, you created the patriarchy. Like, who the f are you talking about? Joe Schmo working at Chipotle didn't create shit. The system isn't benefiting white people at all. It's not benefiting anyone except the rich and powerful. The racism equals prejudice plus power bullshit really one-shotted these people, huh? Only a black child can be minding their business, get ambushed, bullied, and pushed around and become the aggressor.
Minding their business. Let's just have a very quick recap. He's gone into another group's tent, which they were told they weren't allowed to do. Everyone's asking him to leave, just minding his business. I mean, I wonder whether she's lying just to support her people, or whether she just doesn't know. You know, she saw another TikToker say it, and she thought, well, he didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. So only a black child in capitals, you know, 18, I think it was 18. I mean, look at that. Wow.
For protecting himself. But he was quite literally not minding his own business. He was in a rival's team tent and was asked to leave like a dozen times. Witnesses say he started escalating it into a fight and then stabbed someone in the fucking heart. That's not minding your business. Why did they hire that horrible lawyer? had to be the worst defense in history. Absolutely no reason Karmelo shouldn't have testified. We gotta do better with who we hire to represent us. Plenty of black lawyers in Texas. His family raised like $1 million on GoFundMe and then blew it all on a new house and a Cadillac. So then they had to get a public defender. That baby was sentenced to 30.
I didn't see that one. So how much? What? How much? The family used $500,000 in donations to get a lawyer. So you're going to get a pretty good lawyer or attorney or whatever. But they bought a Cadillac and started renting a nearly $1 million property instead. They just done him up. Did she say that he had to get like what we call a duty solicitor? Just a freebie, just someone who's like dropping paperwork as he comes down. Sorry, I'm late. The bus wasn't working, and I got caught up when I was buying my Greg's chicken tikka sandwich. Sorry. I mean, I've had so many duty solicitors, and I just look at them and I'm like, is it worth just asking you to leave? Are you going to be a positive in this situation? When I finally got a proper lawyer, the change was, it just changed my life. I mean, I shouldn't have been breaking the law. I get that, but I was a young man. I made mistakes. I didn't murder anyone. But that's incredible. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Well, to be fair, the Cadillac Escalade is going to be far more reliable than Karmelo ever was.
I'm trying not to respond to that. Arklow has started the grift train. Nice one on the 20 beats. They are all in on the he was a good boy cope on this one. A completely infantilized and lost community. Follow Scott Adams' prescription for this. So if you don't know people, thank you, Arklow, much appreciated. Scott Adams was the geezer that was the cartoonist who got cancelled. His cartoon, Gilbert, was in about 40 publications. He spent his life, that was his life's work, really. And they all cancelled him because he made a video one day where he just went, I've been looking at what's been happening over the last few years in America, and I've come to the conclusion that you've just got to keep away from them. Move away from them. Don't mix with them. Don't go to places where they go. And he was saying it just that. He wasn't like in some mad rage. He just one day made a video and said, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous to be around them. And of course, the other thing that just drives me insane is the biggest victims of black crime are other black people, and yet that they don't like that being brought into the equation. It's very bizarre. So yeah, you can find that Scott Adams video on YouTube. It's quite the watch. He got cancelled. I mean, he's got plenty of money. Gilbert made him a fortune. I think he probably guessed he was going to get cancelled. A completely infantilized and lost community, and a lot of that blame, not all of it, but a lot of that blame I put on the Democrats who intentionally infantilize them, give them free stuff, have as many kids as you can, you'll get more welfare, you'll get more free food, more free houses, more free technology. But if you don't vote for us, that's going to get taken away from you. So the Democrats, the good old Democrats, certainly had a part to play in that. Nice one, Arklow, appreciated.
And a Cadillac. So then they had to get a public defender. That baby was sentenced to 35 years. I love the community note. That murderer was sentenced to 35 years.
Community notes. Who come up with them? I mean, it wasn't like that. I don't think they had them on Twitter, did they? I think X nicked it off of, or did Facebook nick it off of X? Yeah, they're great. They're great. And they're stopping people talking absolute shit. So, yeah, I'm a fan of community notes.
Black people, please carry more than a pocket knife. Get their asses before they can get you. What the hell do you mean, get their asses before they can get you? That's literally what Karmelo did. He got Austin's ass. He killed him. Why the f are they acting like Karmelo was the one who died? 35 years on your first offense is over sentencing. Yeah, there has to be a retrial. This is blatant injustice. First offense. And the offense in question is murder.
Hang on, people. I wanted to get rid of those weird adverts. I don't know where they come from.
Your Honor, it was only his first murder. 35 years ago, killing a Nazi got you a Purple Heart, but now that a German American is president, it gets you a life sentence. All white people deserve no mercy.
I mean, all white people deserve no mercy. I've said it on this channel before. There's a few of the black jurors in the O.J. Simpson trial have gone on the record, on camera, no digitized voice and blanked out faces, saying the jury members, I don't know if I said that, saying that they were always going to say he was innocent because he was a black man, and they wanted him to win the case. So regardless of any evidence, they've said this. You could look it up on YouTube. The videos are still there.
Now Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old, is a Nazi because he was white. Also, 35 years ago.
Pretty much what Konstantin Kisin said about white people working together as a community. to a grooming gang survivor, by the way. Well, we can't have white people, working together because we see what happened last time they done that. I mean, one of the most shocking things I've ever seen someone say on the internet.
Does this dude think World War II was in 1991? Black Americans, arm yourselves. This country is officially a terrorist state of white supremacists. You have no reason to abide by or follow any more laws in this country. Law enforcement and these politicians are all terrorists. Let it all fall. Time for judgment. Just as I suspected. Schizophrenia. I recommend...
She knows what she's doing. Come on, come on. This adds nothing to the video, but everything to my enjoyment.
Logging the f*** off. Do these people just live in a completely different reality?
I've rewound that bit a few times when I was... I'm happy to say it. I'm a slightly red-blooded male.
A guy gets put in prison for murder, and they're like, wow, what's the point of even following the law anymore? Having a black son gotta be the tops of fears. I'm going insane. It was the white son that was murdered. Why are they acting like the black son was murdered? Why are you scared of having a black son in this context? Oh, I'm so scared my son will stab someone and go to jail one day. Like, what? What? It's only self-defense when a black kid dies. Literally, multiple witnesses, including black witnesses, including Karmelo's own friends, said that Karmelo was the aggressor in the situation. Also, just in general, murder is not the acceptable punishment.
It's incredible that she's having to say this. I mean, I know no one here needs her to say this, and I know that, I'm never 100% about anything, but she knows she doesn't have to say this, but she's saying it just because of the bizarre, bordering on the surreal nature of this, of race relations. It's obviously an inverse. The situation is inverse of how they're reading it. Oh, you got to be careful out there. What? Because if you're black, you've got to be careful because a black bloke killed a white bloke. That doesn't even count as basic logic. I don't even think it. I think even to call it illogical is an exaggeration. It's just wrong. It's just you've read it wrong. You don't know what happened. Surely it's because you don't know what happened.
For a shove, for a push. That's not how that works. 50,000 likes on that bullshit, by the way.
There you go. That's they're the sorts of things. Like 50,000 likes, 10,000 retweets or quotes or whatever they're called now. Nearly 800 people put comments in, and you can't like a video or quote a video anonymously. Just quite happy to just stand by this. I don't really want to say this is the hill they're happy to die on, but it's just absurd.
50,000 people saw that and were like, hell yeah. Black kids are the only kids who can't afford to make mistakes without dire...
without dire consequences. Again, look at that, 26,000 likes, 6,000 people retweeted it. Is that other one a share? That nearly 700 people shared it. Black kids are the only kids who can't afford to make mistakes. A mistake? I made a mistake earlier when I was filling up my water from the water butt. It went over the top and there was a bit of water on the floor and I mopped it up. I didn't murder anyone. That's that. I don't know is that a mistake? I mean, to an extent it is, but mistakes, there's a correlation with the level of mistake and the level of consequence. I had to mop up a couple of drops of water. You go to prison because you're not safe to be in the general population, as you proved by your mistake. The chances that you might make a similar mistake again means that you don't get to hang around with everyone else.
Consequences. Your Honor, it was a mistake. My client did a little oopsie poopsie, a little fucky wucky ooh woo, if you will. Black people are held to a higher standard than every other race. We are expected.
Just that opening line. What? That's not my experience. Certainly in the legal situation. Do you remember the BLM riots? What, 33 people killed, billions of dollars of properties, businesses, and all that other lark just torched and broke down. No, I can't remember anyone. Oh, Rittenhouse, a white boy, went to court, but it was just written off. But apparently, black people are held to a higher standard than. I mean, if they were, then they really would be in trouble. We're expected to be perfect. Shane, I'm getting that from, I can't confirm it, I'm getting that from the video I watched of Gavin McInnes before I done the stream. Picard says, I've shaved my beard. Wife not happy. My mistake. I have just noticed it. The missus doesn't like it. I'll tell you what, Picard.
No, she don't know. She looked at me and went, no. I said, well, should I shave the moustache off? And even out when she went, no.
Now, me and the missus were going to Angkor Wat once. And my missus said to me, I needed to get my hair cut. And I said, I'll get rid of my beard and my tash as well. And she went, yeah, all right. And I thought she wanted me to. And when I'd done it, she was gutted. And she didn't tell me for a couple of years. We were looking through some old photos. And she went, oh, look at that. And I was like, what? She said, never do that again. Oi, Mumford, right? So, you know the old male pattern balding? I got it myself, obviously. But when he was in like his early 30s, he had the bit of the front was sort of almost normal, but it looked like a bit of a tongue. And it had gone right back either side. And he thought, I know how to sort this out. So I got a razor, put a bit of the old cream on, and shaved off just that front bit. It made him look like one of those Japanese people, you know, where they shave their hair back to sort of the midway. When his girlfriend got home, she started crying. And the thing about it was purple. Because, you know, like a freshly shaved bit on your head, it was like purple because all the blood vessels, capillaries and that underneath had sort of come to the surface a bit. He had this purple tongue on his, she cried. Anyway, so look at that tweet or that X, or I don't know what you call them. It just doesn't correlate with reality in any way I've seen it. And again, do they believe this, or are they playing a game? Is this part of a let's just stick up for ourselves in whatever situation?
To be perfect, while others are given grace, excuses, and hey, stop. Just a reminder that this is all in context of the Karmelo Anthony situation. So the held to a higher standard, in this case, the higher standard of do not stab people. I'm sorry, okay. Go on. One mistake by a black person gets used to judge an entire community. Oops, I fell and my knife accidentally stabbed your heart.
Austin fell onto Karmelo's knife trying to attack him because the knife...
That's amazing that none of the people were there said that. None of the people, even Carmelo's friends didn't say that. And this lot, just anything, just provide an excuse that people can use. That's all this is. If you don't know what bullshit to make up, we've done it for you. He fell on it. Okay? Right.
Knife is 3.5 inches. The cut was only 2.
I'm crashing out. I'm crashing the f*** out.
What are they suggesting? What? I mean, you can literally kill someone with a pair of nail clippers. You know. Again, just giving out excuses. Just repeat this on social media. It doesn't matter that it doesn't correspond with reality, but it will give you something to say.
Please let the next one be somewhat rational. Y'all gentlemen are so fucking dumb. Y'all really thought that he was gonna get away with stabbing that kid to death. I can tell a lot of you were raised by hoes. Finally, a normal, sane person. A strong black father tells you early that you can't get away with the same shit whites do. God damn it, had me in the first half. When do white people get away with stabbing? What is this?
Who was that copper? Like, there was that geezer that was like looking in people's garages and looking in partially built properties for tools and things. And that's where Jogger come from. Do you remember that case? I can't remember the geezer's name. And they found him and he got his gun out as if to say, look, we're going to call the police. We know what you're up to. And he went for the gun. And he tried to, this is all on video. And that, Chauvin, I think his name was, that's it. I think it's Chauvin. There's been so many like this, so they sort of blur into one. No, he went away. And I would imagine he's not having a very nice time locked up. Oh no, yeah, was that Arklow? Was that the black fella? And was Chauvin the kid, or have I got it the wrong way round? Oh, Chauvin was Floyd. There you go. Like,
you got a copy, Chris. John Shannon.
Oh, nice
copy.
one. I mean, it kind of makes my point, really, but that what they just said is totally ridiculous. John Palmer. Yeah. Okay, JP. I'll do a little cut and paste. I'll pop that there. Now, I don't know if this works, but let's try it. Has that worked? Yes, it has. Look at that. Nearly. It's nearly worked. Let me get rid of that. Let me drop that down. John Palmer bought me a coffee. Thank you, JP. Much appreciated. I'll send you a video later. I like how so many white people are moaning about the diversity on TV, ads, and in the streets. Then they act like their own son is playing with the team of Africans in England shirts. An England team of Englishmen, not a group of random foreigners wearing our nation's flags. Also, Packers Tatch looks very English, and you both look like perfect Englishmen. Well, thank you very much, JP. Much appreciated. A nice one for the support. And me and you were meant to do some writing. We talked about that, and I noticed you sort of disappeared into the writing shadows. So I might have to see about getting you on that course. Let's crack on.
Where do these people live? Earth 2! Culture. When you get called for jury duty, do that shit. Make sure you do your part in serving justice. Every black defendant in every court everywhere is Karmelo Anthony. Every black defendant in every court everywhere is Karmelo Anthony. Every black defendant in every court case everywhere is a murderer. Are you sure that's what you want to go with? I love how he's basically like, go do jury duty so you can go blindly support.
It's incredible to get it so wrong. Amazing.
Any black person, regardless of what they did. What the like, I don't support every white person. Some of you are dumb. What's wild is this wasn't even like a cop kills black guy thing where like there might be some debate about like police brutality and over policing and things like that. No, this was just straight up a black kid stabbed a white kid, and they're losing their minds because he's going to prison over it. Fascinating.
Karmelo Anthony had been white, not only would he have not been convicted, there'd have never been charges. The only reason Karmelo Anthony was convicted was because we are a broken, fucking bigoted country, and Karmelo Anthony was.
And there's that suicidal empathy. Well done, mate. I wonder what guilt you're trying to cover up with that.
Black.
Wow, thanks for the input, gay Colonel Sanders.
Fair play to Shauna. She's still got it.
I fucking hate the Yellowstone hicklib bit. Oh, I'm a big tough country cowboy. Y'all better not say them slurs around here. Yeehaw! Wow, just freaking wow. Disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example.
And that was Cardi B, by the way. 105,000 likes, 28,000 comments, 13,000 retweets. This isn't just, it's not justice to lock someone up for murder. Well, what would you suggest? Some kind of, get them with a few other murderers and see if they can make a boat or something, those weird leftists know, what is it? These people, sociology, people who do sociology degrees and doctorates and that's what they talk about. That's the big thing at the moment. The punishment, it doesn't do anything. Now, I wouldn't say it doesn't do anything, but I don't think it rehabilitates, but it keeps dangerous people off the streets, and that is quite important. The argument is always about, is that going to make him a better person? Is that, blah, 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 blah. The argument rarely goes to, yeah, but he's obviously dangerous, and, there's other people in the world, and he's proven that he can't be around them, so maybe separating them. I mean, we could almost build places where you could put people like that for quite a long time, where they might reconsider the way they behave. I don't know. It's an option.
For any Australians in the chat, he didn't mean anything by that, did you, Chris?
Fair play for Cars on Fire.
It's freaking wow. Disgusting. This is not justice. This is trying to make an example. Dear white people, don't let this verdict fool you. You'll still get fucked up playing them Austin games. Don't let this verdict of a guy who stabbed someone fool you. You're still gonna get stabbed. What? Strong suspicion that a lot of pro-Karmelo stuff I see here is some psyop. Bro, this is what I tried to tell myself for like 6 years about the online left. It's all a CIA psyop from the billionaires to make leftism look as unappealing as possible to the working class. Bro, of course an all-white jury found a black boy guilty for defending himself. Fuck you, racist white pieces of shit.
And Sean Ed's dubbed out the obviously the person who that was. Just imagine, it's not the gall to put that on X. It's knowing you can get away with it. It's knowing you're not going to get your account banned or anything, because they're treated differently. The bigotry of low expectations. It's like, well, if we were to do that, if we were to ban everyone who said something like that, and I don't think they should be banned, but if it happens the other way, you do get banned. So that's the point I'm making. I believe in free speech, absolutely, but if someone can just post this and just get on with their day, not worried that next time they open X, your account has been suspended. Well, that should be for everyone. I mean, there's still people who can't have X accounts for things they said like 6 years ago, whereas this person is being perhaps judged on something as random as the color of their skin, perhaps. Look at that last line. Plural, not just one. Just Just everyone, all of us.
Fuck you, racist white pieces of shit. That sounds extremely racist. Black people can't be racist, stupid hoe. It was not an all-white jury. There were Asian people, there were Hispanic people, and the black people they did ask to do jury duty in this case turned it down because they admitted they would be too biased.
Yeah, this is something I read about when it was all going on. That there were a few black people that were, you know, when they get jury, they get more members than required, because they have to have sort of like a filtering process. And I can't remember whether it was 2 or 3 black people said, I'd rather not take part in this. They were probably just thinking, I don't want anything to do with it, because my life takes goes on a tangent I don't want it to go on if I'm part of this. But they said, I don't want to take part in this jury because I'll be biased. I mean, it's kind of fair play to admit it, but it's a weird... what they're also saying is, I don't care about someone being murdered as much as I care about someone who's got the same skin colour as me. And, you know, it's strange. When Mark Collette was on here a few weeks back, he was talking about that's just the one thing that white people don't do is engaging in group preference. We don't operate as a group. And as much as all this stuff is horrific and as a barometer of the race situation in America, quite frightening, there is something to admire. There is an element of admiration that they will look out for themselves, even above the unnecessary taking of another person's life.
They literally said they would just vote not guilty because Karmelo is black. On one hand, I appreciate the honesty.
Oh, there you go.
On the other hand, what the f***?
Yeah. Oh, this is beautiful. I mean, in a kind of... you know what? And I know that I get a lot of stick from this off of certain people, and that's all right. I can take it. I'm quite thick-skinned. The amount of people recently I've seen that are saying they're just leaving England, they're getting out, they're just leaving. And when I look at America, I think America is going to self-segregate. I mean, it's virtually there already, but once it's been legitimized, and it's like, yeah, you can buy that land, you can have it as only your people. I mean, the blacks do it. They've already done it. They've got a couple on the go, and CNN, MSNBC and all that, they celebrate it. They go there and they're singing and dancing and they're making their food and all that. But when the white people do it, there's court cases about the legality of it. And when they interview them, it's like, is this like a white supremacist organisation? It's like, hang on a minute. It's the same as the X thing. They're treated differently.
They say, can you be fair? Don't say, no, I'm not finna put a black man in jail. Don't say that. Don't say, I hate white people.
Do you realise what she's doing here? She's giving advice to potential black jurors not to admit that you're going to be biased, not to admit that you hate white people. Play the game and get the black person off for whatever they've done. I've just taken it back so that we can hear all of it. That's what this little podcast is doing. I say little, I don't know how big it is. Sorry.
On the other,
but listen to her giving advice of what to do. I mean, I'm just trying to imagine the situation inverted, and the white geezer's murdered someone, a black person, and there's a couple of white people on there saying, look, if you're pulled up on jury service for a white person, don't say you hate black people. I mean, even just saying that is some kind of confession of hatred. Don't tell them you hate white people. Keep that under the hood. That's a confession. I mean, she didn't intend it, but at the same time, she doesn't give a shit, or she'd have deleted the video. I mean, check it out. It's absurd.
Other hand, what the f?
If they say, "Can you be fair?" Don't say, "No, I'm not finna put a black man in jail." Don't say that. Don't say, "I hate white people and I don't care what he did." Don't do that. That's what people were doing in this case. Okay. And then everybody's like in an uproar because there's no black people on the jury, when damn near half of the black people who could have been on the jury canceled themselves out. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we could have got this bloke off if we'd have just, lied and said he's not guilty. And the other woman, did you see the other woman nod her head and laugh? We've got to see it again. The other woman, right at the start, she nods her head and laughs as if to say, yeah. I mean, we all know we hate all white people. I'm going to take it back a bit further to make sure we get it. Watch the woman on the right's response and listen to what the woman on the left actually says, and see it as the confession is. It's not the word she's using. That's denotation. It's what it implies. That's connotation. Check it.
What the f?
If they say, "Can you be fair?" Don't say, "No, I'm not finna put a black man."
Yeah. You don't want to admit that, no. Because we could have got this bloke off, for murder. I mean, who wants to live in that society where, a jury trial is just a question of how many people of your ethnicity are in the jury? That's what it comes down to. That isn't a rule of law. That's a rule of ethnic juries.
And in jail, don't say that. Don't say, "I hate white people and I don't care what he did." Don't do that.
Don't tell the truth. That's what she's just said. Don't do that. Don't be honest and admit that you've got a vile inherent racism against white people. No, that's not good. Just bullshit and get murderers back on the streets, because that's a good thing.
That's what people were doing in this case. Okay. And then everybody's like in an uproar because there's no black people on the jury, when damn near half of the black people who could have been on the jury canceled themselves out. Yeah. Don't do that. Y'all be regular.
Overruled.
Just be regular.
Oh, God.
That's right. Get in there and lie to the court so you can free a person because he murdered a white guy. Incredible stuff. Also, I like how they said, just be regular. Just be regular. Just get on the jury so you can free the murderer. Then return to acting irregular. This case is really affecting me, making me want to go to law school and fight for my people. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Your people being murderers? Is that...
It's a good call. I haven't seen anywhere near past this, so I may well be shocked on my own.
Is that what you're talking about? Murders? Your people being murderers? Also, if by some miracle you happen to get into law school, you'll be disappointed to find out that intentionally stabbing someone and killing them is in fact murder, regardless of what your skin color is.
And not only that, they won't be able to afford you because they spent the money on a motor and a new house.
For some people coming at me like, "Oh, I bet you'll defend Chud the Builder," and like, first of all, who the f*** is Chud the Builder? This is how I know I'm getting old. They keep making these random f***ing streamers in a vat overnight and then like releasing them. Did you hear about PP Boy 57? Like, no, I didn't. I don't know who that is. If Chud the Builder killed someone, or in this case, attempted to kill someone, then he should face consequences for that. Yes. Okay, your turn. Should Karmelo Anthony face consequences? No? Oh, that's weird. Looks like only one of us is the hypocrite here. See, I am not like you. I have a functioning brain and an IQ of probably maybe over 100. I can look at things on a case-by-case basis and not blindly support or attack something, like a mindless drone. Let's go see what they're saying over on Blue Sky, shall we? Fellow white people. Never mind. I'm done again. Bye. Stay out of black people's mentions about Karmelo Anthony. We are the reason not one black juror was seated. We are the reason that an appeal filed on those grounds will surely fail. We are the reason Jim Crow is once again law of the land.
It's just absurd. Imagine how good they felt. Imagine the suicidal empathy inside them, almost effervescently bubbling up through their, their circulatory system, and they're like, yeah, I done it. I supported the oppressed. Someone in the chat said, just send them back to Africa. They don't want to go there. It's a shithole. They want to be in America, one of the greatest countries on the planet that everyone seems to want to go to. This is the weird thing. I wouldn't be surprised if most of the people in downtown Chicago went to the other end of Chicago and said, you buy me a plane ticket to Africa, I'll be gone by morning. I reckon there'd be a whip around and they'd have like a couple of mil ready to send the whole of downtown China to Africa. They don't want to go there. Obviously, they live in an amazing country.
Oh my God! What has this country come to when a man can't freely murder another man in cold blood and get away with it? Literally Jim Crow! Yeah, white people cannot be trusted after this trial with Karmelo Anthony. Honestly, that 35-year sentence coming down on the teenager Karmelo Anthony felt like a proxy for a lynching. Karmelo Anthony defended himself against 2 white supremacists. Now that black people stand up for themselves, white fragility is taking over.
I mean, what case is this? Is there another Karmelo Anthony? Because that isn't what? Against 2 whites? Oh, there was 2 other people involved, was there? I thought there was 15 of them there, and they all said the same thing happened. But, they simply can't handle it. White fragility is taking over. Is it? Or is it a different colour fragility? I'm not quite sure. I am sure.
They simply can't handle it.
Yes, Shane, I did notice that, which just adds to the exceptional bizarreness of the whole thing. 42, hello, mate. They hate you enough to destroy themselves in mutual destruction, as beating you is impossible. It's not empathy, it's a tool. Oh, it's a good take, 42. Oh, that wasn't such a good take.
He saved himself from being lynched, and now he has to spend decades in prison.
Well, again, just make it up. Make it up. Is he suggesting? I'm trying to work out what that could possibly mean.
That means he's a lucky boy. Surely.
I just don't. But
200 years ago, it would have been done and dusted without a trial, because there were 30
think that's what that's getting at?
Yeah, he stabbed him in the chest, tried to kill him, and did.
I don't think that's what that's getting at. I think they're suggesting that in that tent they were going to string him up or something. I can't make head nor tail of that comment, to be honest with you. Just the bottom bit that, trillions of dollars, the things that the American taxpayer has done for the black community.
Yeah,
and
he's probably,
I'll tell you what will happen.
the least greatest country on the planet.
It's much like what Gavin Bobby says is going to happen to the Muslim enclaves in England. The more segregation happens, the less people, plumbers, tradesmen aren't going in there. Shopkeepers are leaving. That's already happening. The Asian shopkeepers, they're moving because they're just not, it's not worth the robbery, it's not worth the violence, it's not worth the not paying after the job's done. So they'll have these little enclaves, but there'll be no Walmarts because the law of the land says you can nick $999 worth of stuff and not get stopped. So they're moving out. The Walmarts are moving out. Everything. So weirdly, and I don't mean this as a joke, but it has got an element of humour, that these sort of, that are already happening, segregated little enclaves, are going to sort of default back to like Africa. As the houses start falling down and they're having to, build them up with like bits of old metal and then an old couple of pallets on the side wall. You're going to get these little things that resemble sub-Saharan Africa in the middle of like America. And I'm not joking about that. I honestly see that coming.
In racist country, huh? He was being lynched? Yes. Do these people live in the...
Packer, you were wrong. There you go. Look, he was being lynched. Yes. I'm not having a go at it for being wrong. I couldn't, I didn't know what he meant. but he obviously meant that. That's his take on it. And I would suggest someone said that to him. He probably was sitting down at school or university, some mad leftist university, and they said, "You hear about that bloke who got 35 years? He was a brother." And the bloke went, "35 years? What for?" He went, "Well, this cracker, he tied a bit of rope around his neck. There was 13 of them in there, so he stabbed him. But he's the one who goes to prison. You know, he was he survived being lynched, and he's the one who ends up in prison." And then that bloke puts it on X as if it's the truth. Like that, the bloke went, "What? He was being lynched?" Yes. And no, you're nearly right. It's no. It's not yes, it's no. I mean, you know, they're part of the same linguistic group in a way, but you got the wrong one of the two. It was a 50-50, but you failed. Maybe it's an IQ thing, I don't know.
Netflix adaptation version of reality or something? What is going on? Stabby, jail. No Stabby, no jail. The only reason Karmelo was convicted is because he was black. If this was a white boy, there would never be charges files. I decree that the people who was involved with this case will begin to reap the unjust decision upon their own head to 1,000 generation. All you bigoted racist people. An all-white jury. Of course, Karmelo Anthony would be convicted. Not an all-white jury. Yeah.
Hang on. In a world of freely available AI, that should never appear on the internet. I mean, it's just, you could even put that into freely available AI and just say, make this make sense. That's all you have to do. You know, but I might have got myself into a double bind there because they might not be able to prompt it. When they try to say, make this make sense, they might put something like, you know, make them this sense because words not my good. And then what's Claude going to do with that? So, okay, I'll let you off for your absolute inability to write.
An all-white jury. Of course Karmelo Anthony would be convicted. Not an all-white jury. Yes, an all-white jury. Stop trying to make excuses for racism. No, not an all-white jury. Who are they trying to convince? Other people or themselves? Anyone defending Karmelo Anthony knows that they're not defending him in good faith. Karmelo is obviously guilty of a murder that he intentionally instigated. Defending murders like this only hurts the black community. We need to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a higher standard. Oh my god, a normal person on Blue Sky. Bro, what are you doing? Get out of there. Go, run.
Yeah, get out, Blue Cry immediately. I only been there once. It's honestly, it reminds me of when there was a TV show called This Life. Do you remember This Life? It done quite well. Remember it, Packer? BBC
yes,
One.
John Thompson and that dude from the zombie thing.
I don't know about that. Tony Curran, a friend of mine, was in it, ginger-haired Scottish fella. And I was invited to the party because one of them, it was their debut in one of the episodes of This Life. And when I got there, you can imagine, there are all these actors and actresses who are sort of on the cusp. You know, they're in This Life. That's pretty good. Like the best performing sort of mini-series on BBC Two or whatever. But because of that, there's no reality, there's no honesty. Everyone's playing a game. Why am I saying this, Packer? Why was I saying that? Hang on, let me take it back. Yeah, Blue Cry. That's right. That's what Blue Cry felt like. I went over there and it was just people pandering, you know, towing the Blue Cry line. That's what it was. You didn't feel like you were getting people's opinions. I felt like I was in a community of people whose first principle of being there was to agree. Their second principle, or perhaps reason, was to not say anything that might upset anyone. It was hyper real. It wasn't. They weren't people. They weren't individuals. They didn't have opinions. It was more like an orgy of agreement, and it felt much like that party I went to. No one there. When I was at that party, not feeling too good because of that feeling, I I went into the toilets and had a pipe, right? So I was, and I come back out, and we're all watching it, and it's all silent. There's about 20 people there, and we're in like a semicircle around the telly, and it's all about this. What was her name? I've seen her in other things since, actually, so her career's doing all right, I suppose. But she come on, and everyone went, yay! And everyone was like, shh, let's hear her. And she said her bit, and that was it. That was her entire thing. And because I just had a pipe, I went, bit part. And I was asked to leave. And I did leave. I mean, I'm not gonna do a Karmelo Anthony, sit down and go, I ain't going anywhere. Touch me and find out. It was like, no, and that was that blue sky kind of thing as well. I sort of popped the bubble. She had about four words. She said something like, are you coming, Jake? And they went, hey, and then it cut to something else. I went, bit part. They didn't like it. They didn't like me. Although almost everyone in that party come up, because it was all the Jerrys and the Colony Club crowd, they all come up to me individually over the next sort of few months and saying that was fucking hilarious when you dropped that bit part, man. And he said I was desperate to, I was trying not to laugh my head off. But as a group, the way the behaviour changes, that's what I get from the one time I went to Blue Sky. Now, that might not be representation. That might not be a fair representation of Blue Sky, because I have only been there once, but I think it is. The grift has been appalling, by the way, people. John Palmer and Arklow saved the day. Just putting that out there. It is about 1:30 in the morning here. I don't know why that counts, but it seems to. Roll VT.
Black community. We need to hold ourselves accountable and hold ourselves to a higher standard. Oh my god, a normal person on Blue Sky. Bro, what are you doing? Get out of there. Go, run. An all-white jury in Texas convicted Karmelo Anthony of murder. Proof that the U.S. never ended the practice of lynching. They let the courts do it instead.
They love the lynching thing, don't they? Let's just keep that alive. It turns out, I think it might have been a Gavin McInnes. It turns out that it wasn't like a huge thing, this lynching thing. Like, it's like single figures or something. And yet they've just kept it alive as this sort of, they were being strung up all around the country, It wasn't like the country had a civil war to put an end to all that sort of stuff. But no, it was being, why are they saying lynching? What's this one?
I think, Chris, you were just as likely to get lynched if you were white. I don't even think it was a race thing.
Right. Oh, that I don't know that, but that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It was just
it's just a thing.
Yeah.
Proof that the U.S. never ended the practice of lynching. They let the courts do it instead. You don't have to support what Karmelo Anthony did to recognize the problem with sentencing a child to spend 35 years in prison based off of the deliberations of an all-white jury. Said it again, award!
It's incredible, though, this all-white jury. It's like they're admitting, again, it's an accidental confession of how they perceive race relations in America. It's not like evidence was put forward, evidence was discussed, and they found him guilty. It's they're white, he's black, that was always going to happen.
Said it again, all-white jury! It's time to play Horseshoe Theory! Contestant number 1. Here is the tweet. Stop sending your kids to these race schools.
Oh, stop sending your kids to these black schools. Definitely a white supremacist.
Oh, I'm sorry. The tweet is stop sending your kids to these white schools. And it came from the account Dapper Domo, who is black. You know what that means?
She looks very hot like that as well.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Into the pit! Stop bringing non-black people into black spaces. Teach your kids to defend themselves by any means possible. Keep your black kids in black spaces as much as possible.
I mean, wasn't the civil rights movement, and the idea of it was to end the idea of black spaces? And here we go back to Scott Adams, who actually said no. And Jesse Lee Peterson says it as well. Jesse Lee Peterson, a black man, says that the civil rights movement was the worst thing that happened to the black community. And he gives you plenty of reasons why as well. Okay. I mean, if you want to arrange that, I'm not going to complain. Like, I've got to go to England to promote my next novel that's coming out in November, the one I've been working on for 10 years. And that's the one that's out at the moment. Thank you, Picard. I tell you what, that Jerry Stahl quote about that novel, Love in the Time of Nudie Mags, I put it on every social media platform I've got. And it's such a cracking review. I couldn't have asked for more. And my book shot up the Amazon charts. And it was at number 14,001 in the bestsellers rank. Now, there's an estimated 35 million books on UK Amazon paperback, which puts Love in the Time of Nudie Mags, which has had 2 number 1 spots and 2 top 100 spots, in the top 0.05% of books on Amazon. Now, it doesn't stay there. You know, these things move up and down. I think it's at about 30,000 now, which is still like the top 0.1%. But 8 months after launch, to be in the top 0.05% of books on Amazon, I never expected this. I never expected anything like this. And it's you know, it's my dream. And thank you to everyone here who's played a part in making that happen. Seriously, it's, you know, usually a novel goes on there, it spikes when friends and family reluctantly buy it, and then it just disappears. 2 months later, it's gone. 8 months later, it's in the top 0.05% of all books on Amazon. It might be quite good. Who knows? Where are we now? I'll take you back a bit for context.
By any means possible. Keep your black kids in black spaces as much as possible. Keep your black children away from these devils.
Hang on, this is off the back of a black kid murdering someone, right? Okay, well, that makes sense. You've read that situation correctly. Look at her picture. Like she's got Down syndrome. And maybe she has, and in which case I apologise for calling her out, but good Lord.
If we had segregation still, none of this would have happened. He wouldn't have had no interactions with any white boy because we would have been in an all-black school.
Yeah, and you fought, but your ancestors fought for that. You know, and you can say that, well, you know, your ancestors fought for it, but it wasn't you that fought for it. But you then accuse us of slavery, and I didn't have a slave. Oh, no way, I know that is. That's Leon. Leon Squared has dropped a Lady Godiva. The gay rights movement was the worst thing to ever happen to gays. Pride today in London makes me feel shame. You know, in this new short I'm writing, there's a little bit about drugs. Leon, first of all, thanks for the support, much appreciated. Hope you're well, brother. And I talk about Francis Crick because the rumor is that Francis Crick, who discovered the double helix structure of DNA, said that he he discovered it while he was tripping on acid, right? And he was also part of a group called Soma that was, this was like going back to the 60s, I think. And it was part of the legalization of cannabis. And in the short, I say, I don't want really drugs to be legalized. It takes all the fun out of it. You know, if drugs are all legalized, you're never going to get the Velvet Underground. I mean, I know we've had them and they've been, but all that stuff goes. You know, I know that there's a lot of people in prison for drugs that shouldn't be there. I don't really believe locking people up for if they want to take drugs. It's their body, Jesus. But it's quite good fun, all the illegality of drug taking. It's what makes it a bit, you know, and we're being all a bit. But if you had to go to the pharmacy and go, hello, mate, can you do me a bottle of Pepto-Bismol, a 5 gram box of crack, and half a gram of heroin, please? That's one generation before no one's doing those drugs anymore. Because why would you? You know, that's a cause without a rebellion. It's like, you know, I remember a geezer said to me once, I said to him, I said, I love heroin. He said, yeah, but it's for people with cancer. And it just the sort of, you know, the reputation of it, you know. I wanted to be a heroin addict. I didn't know what it was, but I wanted to because I liked the sort of the drama and the sort of ultimate rebellion that it had. Take all that away and it just be like dished over at the pharmacy. You know, like if you had a mate and like, you know, let's put ourselves 30 years in the future. And you had a mate, like the first time you take heroin, you'll puke repeatedly for hours. I had a mate who was puking all the next day while he was digging holes, and he was having to shovel his own puke out of the hole he was digging. And imagine he come back from the pharmacy and he went, oh, I bought this here. It's called heroin hydrochloride. And then he got out like a needle. You'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? I go, well, hang on, it's got, and what you do here, put it in a spoon, add some citric acid, heat with water, find a vein, and you'll be like, what? It's just like absurd. You'll be like, don't do that. This is what? But because of the illegality, because it's been put out of the establishment, anything that's put out of the establishment is immediately anti-establishment. And that's why people will do it. And I remember, Leon, you probably know, or you probably, I don't know where you come from but do you know Ivan Massow? I say that, it's Ivan Massow. But he's a friend of mine, and he made millions off of the back of the pink pound in the 80s when insurance companies weren't insuring the gays. And he had this, I think he still does it, it's like a club for gay entrepreneurs. It's a networking event for gay entrepreneurs. And he had someone speaking. He was a TV personality who I didn't know was a Bondre. I'm not going to out him because it's his choice. And he said it used to be a lot more fun. He said it was a lot more fun when we had to speak, what is it, the gay Polari, they call it? Like in code. And he was talking about being at the Colony Club with Francis Bacon talking gay Polari because, you know, you didn't want people to know what you were getting up to. And then suddenly, no, you can get married, you can adopt kids, and it's all a little bit mainstream. It's like, and I don't think the non-gays appreciate it either. I remember, you know, I lived in Soho for a long time, and the trans people I knew before all the trans stuff blew up, it was nothing. It was nothing. You know, I knew they were geezers. They knew they were geezers. They like dressing up in women's clothes and acting like a woman. All right, fair enough. It was, you know, they were quite funny about it. And then when all this stuff kicked off, I remember one of them, Angela, she's dead now. And she said, my life's wrecked. It's wrecked now. I get so much abuse now. Yeah, I can understand that, Leon. I can understand it. Hello, Mega Essex boy. How are you, son? Good to see you. So, Mega Essex boy, if you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to, but you built an house in New Zealand. You warned me against building my own house, so I'm going through with that. I'm not really. We put the footings in, but we've got a company who are going to build the actual house in a few years' time. We'll have to see how well monetizing my Substack goes. But someone said you were in the UK. And that you've moved there, but I can't imagine you'd have built an house in New Zealand and moved to the UK. Surely
I think he was visiting.
Huh?
I think he was visiting. He was just visiting.
Yeah. On holiday. That makes more sense. Thank you again, Leon. Appreciate it.
He comes from where I do, and I'm not fucking going back either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Toffee says this is why community is important. Your loyal fans bought your book. Loyal friends are important. Yeah, I agree. A lot of them did. But also many more people did. Or it wouldn't make its way back up to 14,000 8 months later. I mean, there was a spike at the beginning. But yeah, Toffee, there's a famous book written for independent publishers and authors called Write, Publish and Repeat. And they talk about 1,000 true fans. And if you can get 4 or 5 novels out over the course of 3 or 4 years, and if you've got 1,000 true fans, and they all buy your book, and they all tell their mates, if it's good, that it's good, and a few of their mates buy it, that will sustain you as a professional writer. And yeah, you're right, you're absolutely right. And that's why I'm really interested in the church at the moment and what Andrew Wilson said about it's not just a community, it's that duty. If you're a Christian, then you've got a duty to look after other people in your community. And many other people have tried to build communities outside of a religious system, so to speak, but without that duty to have someone else, to have your communities back, they just don't work. And if anyone can, even the Freemasons, that's why there's a religious element to it. That's what I think anyway. There's certainly symbolism, ritual, and all those things you find in religions. They're not there by accident. I don't want to get into any conspiracy theories about Freemasons, but I certainly think that makes sense there. Roll VT.
We're going to reverse engineer segregation, aren't we? But wokely. We don't want those evil white people drinking out of the same water fountain as us, am I right? Honestly, my honest, real opinion about this, my hot take of the video, everybody, here it comes. Lukewarm, microwaved, 4-day-old mac and cheese take, here it comes. If they want to go make their own, all black schools, all black towns, they should be allowed to. Go for it. Black people want to go create Wakanda? They should be able to, but white people should be allowed to create Agartha. If people want to willingly segregate themselves, they should be allowed to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, but shoe on head, black people are allowed to do that, and the legacy media promotes it and congratulates them for it. It's only when white people try and do it, they get taken to court. That is fact. I've seen it recently.
Yes, who cares? Everyone else can live in a desegregated society. They can go have their ethno-states. But there is only one side that will not be able to do that. I always wondered, though, let's say they do make a white ethno-state. What counts as white? Because 100 years ago, I would not have counted as white. I'm Ellis Island mystery meat. You know this. Is there a 1-drop rule? Do they whip out the eye chart at the gate and they're like, yes, A10s. You may enter. Is Brittany Venti allowed in the white ethno state? Honestly, she's an honorary Aryan at this point. She white mogs me. Anyway, we are getting distracted. Where were we? Oh, yes. Hell. we were in hell. I'm black. I haven't stabbed anyone in the chest after being asked to leave a tent. I'm not in prison. I'm free. It's not hard to not commit a crime. Listen, I appreciate the sentiment here, but how did we get to a point where this is like a breath of fresh air?
Exactly. That's that critical distance I always talked about. I always go on about. He said that. He took time to think about it, articulate it, put it on social media. But that doesn't even need thinking about. In a civilized, sane, relatively high IQ society, that doesn't need saying. There's two phrases, two idioms in the English language that I absolutely love. It goes without saying, and it speaks for itself. And the fact that this geezer puts that up, on a social media platform, and people will read it, including me, including you, including us, including Sean Ed, and think, a bit of sanity. But let's just look at it again. Right. That's look at it, it's had 34,000 views, whatever platform it is, it looks like X, yeah, it is X. That's been boosted or promoted in some way. And it's like a 6-year-old can tell you that. Literally a child, a real child, could tell you that. And yet, this is considered adult discourse around murder.
Chest after being asked to leave a tent. I'm not in prison, I'm free. It's not hard to not commit a crime. Listen, I appreciate the sentiment here, but how did we get to a point where this is like a breath of fresh air? Let's check the replies. Hopefully people are agreeing. Shut your hoe ass up. Emmett Till didn't commit a crime either. What happened to him? You're not black. You're not black. You're a boy, you ain't black. You may be black, but you ain't black. Yes, because being black is supporting all black people everywhere regardless of what they have done. All the normal black people are just called like pick-me's. They're called pick-me's for having a brain and not going along with this race grievance bullshit. Every time like they speak out about this, they're just called the C word, you know what I mean? The term for this animal. Is that a slur? Like, I know what that's like to a degree. Granted, it's over me making fun of like women on TikTok, but like I know what it's like watching people in your community act like fucking morons. I feel you, my brothers. Oh my god. Editor. Edit that out. Edit that out. By the way, if you want an uncensored, uncucked version of this video and all the videos a day early, sign up to be a member on...
No, we don't. Oh, I haven't seen this actually.
Say fucking shit and anyway, let's get back to the video. Oh my god.
This is a racist ass country.
It's quite hard to concentrate. Is she talking about something? I mean, I feel for her, really. That's got, yeah. Anyway.
We're in a racist ass state. This is a racist ass court. There ain't nothing else to talk about.
First of all, I forgot what I was going to say. I'm going to be completely honest.
No, I think I know what you're going to say, and you decided probably better not talk about it.
Honest with you, I was staring at her titties the whole time. Those are giant titties. Just left the courthouse, and any white person can get it for real. I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. Dig Austin Metcalf up and stab his ass again.
Again, look at that. It's his name, his real name, Devontae D. Peters. And then Ken Fluellen says, F it. Dig Austin Metcalf up and stab his ass again. Just. I mean, it's a tragedy what happened, and it's a tragedy for both of them. And I mean that. I do mean that. I mean, I don't know a lot about old Karmelo, but I can't imagine he had the greatest upbringing based on the way he behaved and murdered someone for nothing. And just dig him up and kill him again. Okay, great, lovely. It's going well in America.
And apparently a bunch of people on TikTok are doing the Austin Bop, where they dance to a song made about Austin Metcalf's murder while...
Hello, Spanish.
Reenacting the stabbing.
Austin Bop, knife had blood on the tip when he dropped. How the f you gonna stop me shit?
They were also making AI photos of themselves pissing on Austin's grave.
And I have seen some of them, not here, but when I was making sure she wasn't cherry picking, there's plenty of them over there on TikTok. Look at that. Look at that. Just. I mean, what's going to happen? Where are we? Where are we as a civilization? When people bother to get the old AI out and decide to do that, put it up, make it public. BLM influencers.
Where we are, Chris, is very nearly not a civilization.
I'm kind of with you, man. I never wanted to go there, but while I'm at it, the last stream, Anglo donated a load of. He's not here tonight. I pinged him an invite. There's a few people I ping invites because they don't get notified. But after the stream, a couple of people, well, about 4 people donated on Buy Me a Coffee, and I want to thank those people. You got your videos already anyway, but that was very kind of you, because it can be quite disheartening because it's not only a financial thing, but I sometimes think, was that a shit stream? I sometimes, because that's our relationship with money. And anyway, I think the race problem in both the UK, France, Germany, and the United States is far, far worse than most people are prepared to admit. I think it's a powder keg. I think that fuse has been lit. I mean, again, going back to what I think it was, I can't remember who it was wrote, but going back to the Gilbert blokes thing, I think that at the moment, I think self-segregation would be the best turnout. But there's problems with that, and there's problems with Bobby's segregation thing, because when the segregated community goes downhill and no tradesmen go there and there's no shops and there's nowhere to get food, well, where are they going to go to get food? Where are they going to go to get money? Where are they going to go to get new vehicles? These places aren't going to be separated by 200 miles. Well, they might be in America because it's huge, but in England they're not. They're rubbing shoulders. These different tribes that live next door to each other in London, it's so fucked. And I was talking to an old friend earlier, and in the 90s, it felt like it was job done. It was like, when I went on Edward Dutton's, it's behind a paywall on his Substack. We were talking about my novel, and it was interesting that there's not a mention of Islam or Muslims or racism in that novel. And it wasn't because I deliberately kept them out. It was because it was 1986 and it just wasn't a thing. We did not, I mean, maybe there were some people who were, like the National Front and the likes of that, people who had got onto it early, but it certainly wasn't sort of everyday broadcast news and media news like it is today.
I grew up in Ilford. I had I left there when I was 10 in 1980, and I had Muslim mates when I was at school. They were just my mates at school, Arshad and the rest of them. Mohammed, obviously.
It's obviously, it's strange, isn't it? And how quickly it's happened.
Yeah.
Mega Essex Boy is leaving for New Zealand tomorrow. Are you happy to be getting back to New Zealand? How's your experience of the UK been? When I went back, when my mother died, I hated it there. Not as in I hate England, but I was just so sad. I went to central London once, and my hometown is, you know, I would love to take my missus to show where I grew up, but it isn't there. You know, the houses are there, the streets are there, but to say I grew up here, she'll have a totally different. She'll think, "What, you grew up here? This is a strange place to grow up." And I'd be like, "No, it wasn't like this. It wasn't like this." You know, there was when we were teenagers, you'd walk through Dartford town centre, like when the pubs were chucking out, on your own, 16 years old, on acid. You know, you get the odd tear up here and there, but, you know, not stamping on your head or stabbing you or anything. Now there's like a couple of stabbings a week in Dartford. It's like, what is going on? I don't know, man. It's so desperate. And this really didn't need to happen. None of this needed to happen. I despise the left. I despise them.
You know, I was always told not to judge people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And boy, am I judging these people by the content of their character. What the f***? These people are freaks. Martin Luther King Jr. would be rolling in his grave looking at all this. Karmelo Anthony, a black teenager, has been sentenced to 35 years in prison after being convicted by a jury with no black jurors. Oh, God, here we go again. No black jurors. Who is this moron? Who is this idiot? Oh! Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. Wonderful. Awesome.
Can you imagine that? Martin Luther King's daughter, you'd imagine, should have a lot of respect for her father, whether you agree with what he said or not. But the power of a state, largely democratic, curated education system has turned her against her own father's outlook on race. Wow. That just shows you the power of it.
I'm done.
That is a very sad thing to hear.
Yeah, it's just again, Packer.
That makes me sad to hear. That's just, isn't it?
I wonder what the elder people in her family think of that. You know, the people that sort of knew him and were there at the time when he had a dream. Well, you know, she's promoting a nightmare. See what I did? Clever.
And who is this idiot? Oh! Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. Wonderful. Awesome. I'm done. It's been a good 12 years, but I'm done. Channel's done. Video's over. This officially broke me. I'm done. Go watch Moist Critical. Go watch Asmongold. I'm done.
And right off the bat, man, free Karmelo.
The reason I found this video, I've got to rewind this bit. The reason I found this video is because I saw Asmongold talking about it. And that, I mean, they get on and that, but that's quite a funny little dig. Go and watch Asmongold. And he was like, he done about 2 minutes of silence with his eyebrows doing his best channel on the internet after Dave's Waffle House is Asmongold, without a doubt. If you haven't got onto Asmongold yet, people, give it a go. It takes a bit of time to feel it. One day you just sort of snap and you think, oh, I've got to see what... He puts out 4 or 5 videos a day. He's just obsessed.
He's a nerd who lives in his parents' attic, even though his parents are now both dead. He's still there.
They both died?
I think so, yeah. I think they're both dead now.
I saw an interview with him and his dad.
He's well rich, isn't he? But he lives on nothing and still lives like he did when he was a teenager. And he's really
he just
weird.
drinks Coca-Cola all day, doesn't he? Just sits there with his big
really because his world is black and white, cut and dried. There's only one way about it. And it's quite interesting.
The interview I see with his old man they said to his dad, "What do you make of it? What do you make of Asmongold?" He went, "He doesn't do anything. He just sits around looking at the computer." I'm thinking, he puts 4 videos out a day. You can understand how hard that is. I mean, I was doing 2 or 3 during COVID, but anyway.
Asmongold, I'm done.
And right off the bat, man, free Karmelo. Straight up. I don't give a fuck about no white lies. F that cracker. We smoking on that Austin pack. I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in this shit. It ain't.
Is that the bloke from The Man with the Golden Gun? You know, the James Bond film? Is that him? Surely that's him. If anyone in the chat...
earlier, never go full retard, but there you go.
Yeah. Let's take it back because I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding what he's actually saying. Let's give it a proper go.
And right off the bat, man, free Karmelo. Straight up. I don't give a fuck about no white lies. F that cracker. We smoking on that Austin pack. I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in this shit. It ain't nothing good that's in this shit. But they trying to lay the law down. All that shit. Y'all gotta get.
Does anyone know what he's talking about? I did see him say we smoked that cracker out, which is nice to celebrate the unnecessary murder of a fellow athlete. But the rest of it, I am struggling.
Give it up. Y'all gotta give it up.
Like,
I mean, most of you will probably know about phrenology. It was a sort of bullshit science where the shape of your head and your features determine things like your intelligence. A little bit like palmistry, you know. If you add sort of this and that, it you know, certain shapes and things signal certain how well you're going to do, how intelligent you are, your impulse control and all that sort of thing. It's been totally debunked. You'll often see them in antique shops. They're just like these sort of white ceramic heads that are divided up with these little blue lines with numbers in them, sometimes just writing in them. I'm just looking at this, geez, and I might have to have another look into phrenology.
I don't care anymore because it ain't no
hang
good
on,
in that.
Hang on, whoa. So she was, she's transcribed it for us. That'll make it easier to understand.
Y'all gotta give it up.
Like, I don't care anymore because it ain't no good in that shit. It ain't nothing good that's in this shit, but they try to lay the law down up that shit. Y'all gotta give it up. Y'all gotta give it up. Beautifully said. Thank you, sir.
There isn't a black American on earth that is surprised by what just happened to Karmelo Anthony. Not one.
All right, I've seen this bird before. JP is all behind. He's all behind phrenology. And he's suggesting that it was debunked by a certain group of people. I don't know what that means. This woman is. She is. I'm just going to take it back so we get all of it. She is the epitome of the race grifter. It's no surprise. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen, like, you know, I watched it on Asmongold, not here. But I would have put everything I own on the fact that the likes of her would have jumped on this Karmelo Anthony clean-cut case of murder, imprisonment, guilty. Because it's how she makes a living. These people, they make millions out of this stuff. They make an absolute fortune. And they drain that money out of their own very poor communities. And of course, a few, a few white liberals with suicidal empathy brimming over. But, you know, if it was to actually be sorted out, they'd be out of work, out of a job, and have no minor celebrity status that makes them think they're better than anyone else. And I've seen this woman talk before. You're about to hear the most ridiculous bullshit. I'm guessing maybe she'll pull something interesting out the bag. But I've seen her debate people and get absolutely spanked frequently. So this will be interesting.
Beautifully said. Thank you, sir.
There isn't a black American on earth that is surprised by what just happened to Karmelo Anthony. Not one.
There's not a white person on earth either. You murder someone, you go to prison. What's your point?
One black face in that jury box, not one peer, not one person who has ever navigated this country in melanated skin. And if you think that doesn't matter, then you haven't been paying attention to
this whole sort of Malcolm X kind of approach, you know, the whole sort of Marxist revolutionary approach. You know, she's got the what's her name? She wrote I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. What's her name? Well, she's got that the whole throw job. She's playing that game. You know, it's LARPing as a revolutionary.
the last 400 years of American history because you don't want to. This is not new. This is the system working exactly as it was designed.
First of all, the Black Panther LARP is cringe.
They're amazing. Yeah, I'm glad we agree on that. The Black Panther LARP is cringe. Pretty much what I said.
It's gotta go. This isn't the 1960s. You aren't protesting segregation. You're making a fucking TikTok video, okay? Second of all, this is the system working exactly how it was designed. Yeah, I'd hope. When you kill someone, you go to jail. Like, am I missing something? It was actually a refreshing change that the system was working for once. I'm tired of waking up to headlines like, man who raped corpse on subway gets 5 years in jail. Like, I'm not kidding. That was like a real headline I saw the other day.
I'ma say it since nobody else can say it. Austin. Glad your ass dead. Austin, fuck his family, and I hope they get this message and have a up day in here, Austin. I hope you over there burning up, bitch. I'm so proud of you.
That's nice. I mean, what was the intention there? Just to be really nasty? Just to, you know, it's not enough for him to have been killed. He wants his family to be killed and suffering. Okay. And we look at this. This geezer's calling for a national whooping white day. I'm assuming whooping means to kill someone, I guess.
He off for kicking that white boy. See, they not used to this happening to them, y'all. My only problem is it should happen more. Can we please pick a day where we just the white people up? Matter of fact, I wish I knew what the little white boy grave was so I can go spit on that bitch.
How the f are any of these videos still up? There were so many.
Because they're treated differently to us. That's why. You know, we talk about two-tier policing, but there's a two-tier policing of expectations, and that says it all. Really, it's not like it's like. You know, we can't stop them from saying things like that because they'll have nothing to say because they don't say anything else. Hashtag not all, Morgan Freeman. You know, it's...
Of these videos. Are these people like CIA psyops? I'm doing it again. No. This got so bad that people were actually going out and assaulting white people to get revenge. Obviously, I can't show these videos, but there were multiple incidences of this. These people live in a delusional, alternate reality, and they're becoming radicalized to take revenge.
And they're allowed to do it. The bigotry of low expectations. But it's not even the bigotry of low expectations anymore. It's just low expectations.
For that isn't even happening. But like every other week, I have to read another stupid New York Times article about how like 20-year-old white boys are being radicalized into the alt-right because they watch Jordan Peterson or some like you. And like people have been.
I mean, it's a great line from Sean Ed there. I mean, 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, you might sort of think about that as something real, but now the idea just get that critical distance, you know, pull away the sort of curtains of repetition, which is how propaganda works. White kids are being turned into extremists from watching Jordan Peterson. They're being turned into alt-right. Oh, I remember the alt-right. What was that, like 88 or something? You know, it's like...
so brainwashed to believe that they're racist because they post like edgy memes.
Hey, has anyone here? I mean, I don't watch Piers Morgan's Uncensored for Piers Morgan. I usually watch it for Andrew Wilson and to watch leftards get an absolute whipping, because they always do. But has anyone noticed over the last sort of 6 weeks, Piers Morgan has slowly learned, he's nearly there, but not quite, but he's slowly learned what per capita means. Like there's bits where like people are saying to him, yeah, but Piers, think of it per capita. And you see him look awkward. You see him look, he's like, yeah, but you're not answering my question. And he's like, no, I am. Look at the percentage. You know, they're trying to explain the very basic principle of per capita to him. And then another video comes on, and because he hasn't processed per capita, someone says it again. They says, yeah, but Piers, you're not looking at it as, you know, he says plenty of white people rape people in England. And they're like, yeah, but if you look at it per capita, and Morgan's all twitchy again, because he's like, oh no, not this. I can't get. It's like a Rubik's cube for him. He just can't quite work it out. It's been really weird watching him slowly. I wouldn't be surprised now if you go on Piers Morgan, you have to sign off that you're not going to mention per capita on his show anymore, because he just can't get his head around it, because it pulls the rug out of his entire outlook on these things.
No, you're not f***ing racist with your 4chan memes. These people are racists. You're like a level 1, maybe level 2 racist. These are like level 9 racists. You have no idea what racism is. I've seen your friend groups. Racist friend groups do not care what race you are, as long as you are also racist. These people are significantly more racist than you will ever be. Hell, even the KKK, level 10 racists, wore hoods to conceal their identity. These people are out here posting this full government name and face.
I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more.
I deadass gotta look at my sweet innocent son one day and explain to him that people hate us simply because we were born black. What am I supposed to tell my son? I don't f***ing know. Not to kill people? Like, okay, sorry. I don't know what it's like to be black, okay? I don't know. Maybe it's a completely different experience that I will never understand. But in this case, nobody is hating Karmelo because he is black. They are hating Karmelo because he killed someone. I basically said this on Twitter, and some liberal account was like, remember when Shu was a leftist? Ah yes, the famous leftist policy, being pro-murder. I remember back when Shoe on Head was pro-murder. Silly me, how could I fall so far? Leftism isn't about wealth inequality or workers' rights, no. It's about letting black people stab white people, clearly. To be completely honest, I have seen what being a good leftist is to you people, and with all due respect, you f***ing no thank you.
We also know now that yes, Karmelo Anthony may have had a tool in his backpack that no, he shouldn't have brought it to a track meet, but it was there. It had a 3.5-inch blade, but also in that backpack, he had snacks. He had school puzzles, and he had a cross.
Your Honor, yes.
He turned up with an AK-47. I'm going to say Rubik's Cube again. A Rubik's Cube and a pack of Quavers. Surely the Rubik's Cube and a pack of Quavers, they sort of balance out with the AK-47. A cross. Okay. Inverted.
The defendant may have had a knife, but he also had Cool Ranch Doritos. I rest my case. Real lawyer, by the way. That woman is a real lawyer. There were thousands and thousands of videos and tweets just like this. You probably get the point. These weren't just like cherry picked. They were everywhere. But it wasn't just Twitter nobodies and blue sky nobodies. There was also sitting Congress people saying this insane shit.
Black women live in fear and agony every single day.
No, you like to push that agenda, sure, certainly. So what, this is a congresswoman?
A fear and agony that I promise you, the Metcalfs probably never spent a day living that way.
Yes, someone's teenage son was murdered, but please keep in mind the real victims here. Black women.
I don't know what it was like. It seemed like it was a multi-tool, almost like a Swiss Army.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, let's minimize the weapon as much as possible. No, it was a leather man. It was actually those little tweezers that you slide out of a leather man. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like with the little scissors and everything and whatever. So it was small.
Are you sure about that? Yeah.
Your Honor,
I know that it was a knife because I've read the court transcripts, but it wouldn't even matter the size of it if the geezer's dead because of it. Like I said, you just get the what is it, the carotid artery or the carotid vein either side of your neck. Get a. I mean, I used to use 1-inch needles to get to my femoral artery which is down near my my crown jewels. A 1-inch blade in the right place, and you'll bleed out in about 2 minutes and die. Having that conversation. It was small. Also, are you suggesting it was something else that killed Austin Metcalf? Is that what you're suggesting? Because you
exactly
are
the same as being a little bit pregnant.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly that. Ridiculous.
Knife my client.
Alfie, hello, Alfie. Alfie said, did you bring your sandwiches? What fucking sandwiches? These fucking sandwiches. And that is Blogs. Hello, Bill. Bill Blogs earlier said tool because that woman said tool, like from Scum. Do people who know the movie Scum, who was it? Who made it? Roy Clark or something? I should know that. I think he made Made in Britain as well. I can't remember. But that film Scum was made twice. There's 2 versions of that film. It's really weird. As a youngster, it freaked me out because I'm watching it the first time. I was like about 15. I thought, this is fucking brilliant. And then I got some mates round, like a couple of years later, and it was on telly, and we watched it again, and I was like, hang on a minute, the vegetarian bloke or the vegan bloke who just pretends to be a vegan just to piss off the prison service so that he can't, he walks around in bare feet because he can't wear the leather boots and all that, and they have to give him special meals. He just does it to piss them off. It was a different actor. And I'm thinking, am I going mad? That's a different bloke. And then there's a bit where Carlin, who's like the daddy, is where the famous line from, I'm the daddy now, and he puts a couple of pool balls in a sock and cracks a few people around the edge of them. There's a bit where he calls one of the other daddies from another wing, and he says, let's sort this out, once and for all. I'll meet you in the tool shed or something. And the famous line, which Blogs alluded to, he goes, they're standing there, and he's a black fella and it's a white fella, and he goes, where's your fucking tool? And the black fella goes, what fucking tool? And he goes, this fucking tool, and it's like a bit of lead pipe or something, and he just smashes him to pieces. And I'd told my mates about that, because you're 16. I goes, there's this bit where he goes, where's your fucking tool? And then he goes, where's your tool? And then the black fella goes, what tool? He goes, this tool. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm just thinking, is this a different movie? And I looked into it years later, and apparently he made it, but they wouldn't put it on telly. So rather than trying to chop it up, he made it again. Most of the actors were prepared to shoot it again. A couple weren't, so they replaced them. They took a little bit of the violence out. The geezer that gets graped in the greenhouse? I've told you this plenty of times, but for people who are new, the geezer gets graped in the greenhouse, it's awful, an awful scene. He kills himself at the end of the film. Spoiler alert. I know him. I know that fella. And I was standing outside my house in Soho on Lexington Street, middle of the day in just my pants. I saw the postman coming down the road, and I knew that he had something from the dark web for me, and I needed it like pronto. So I've run downstairs, run out my door, run up to him, and he knew I was very eager to get my post. Like sometimes I'd meet him right down the bottom of the road, like looking up Berwick Street, wait, and I'd run up to him and he'd go 57 Lexington. I go, yep. And like at Christmas, I give him like 20 quid. Just look after my mail. Yeah. And I'd run out and I'd got my delivery, and I realised I'd left my keys inside and the door had slammed shut. And I had no shoes on. It was like November. It weren't hot. I had just my pants on. And that geezer, the geezer from you see him in loads of TV shows. He always plays like a barrister or something.
He was in EastEnders.
Is he? He's in EastEnders now.
No, he was years ago.
I haven't seen it. I've not seen him in EastEnders, but I can't remember his fucking name. It's something like Felix. It might be Felix. I don't know. Hang on a minute. Oh, fuck that. And he just walked up to me and went, "You all right, Chris?" I was like, "Not really." And he said, "But I thought you were pretty good at all this getting in and out of houses." I said, "Actually, that ain't a bad idea." And we went and found some skips around the corner, found a Coca-Cola bottle, cut out a bit of plastic, and went and shimmed my lock. And it got a bit awkward then because he sort of wanted to come in and have a cup of tea, and I was in my pants, and I wanted to make use of my delivery rather than have a cup of tea with him. Nice bloke. I'm a bit gutted I've forgotten his name. Good actor as well. There you go. No, Bill, I didn't do it.
Used to kill the man was small. What? By the way, I've not seen a single Democrat politician come out and disavow this idiot, so until then, I'm just going to assume they all agree. What's funny is they can't come out and disavow it, because they'll all be attacked and called racist, and they know it. This was a viral Substack written by a university professor. Are you ready for this? Dear Jeff Metcalf, your son is dead because you failed to teach him that black boys have boundaries. Yesterday evening...
Wow. Now, Austin Metcalf's dad has been really going for it. He's been posting TikTok videos and other platforms, and rightly so. He's absolutely, he's just lost his son totally unnecessarily, and he's just saying it. He's saying these people are violent, they're dangerous, and I don't know if anyone has anyone here seen Austin Metcalf's dad? Let me see if I can find a little clip now. Hang on. Don't worry, Packer will take over while I'm looking for it.
Thanks, Chris. We're all having fun.
Let me find... I want to find one where there's not a load of other people talking. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
This might not be as easy to do as I think. Let me see if we get the audio from this or not. So that's Austin Metcalf's father that you can see on the screen, right?
All right, there we go.
And this is after the murder and I think the sentencing. But like the nudge unit, I only found out about that when I went on Bo's breakfast stream on the Lotus Eaters, and I said to him, they always say, we don't want to make this about race. And Bo said to me, it's called the nudge unit. The slang for it is the nudge unit. I think they're called the ROIC or something. Someone in the chat might know. They send them in with the gathers. Straight up, get in there while they're emotionally vulnerable, say to them, make a statement, that you don't want to make this about race, and that's why they're called the nudge unit. And it happens every time. You know, we don't want to make this about race. Well, you don't have to, because it already is. What you're actually saying is we're going to uphold the narrative because we've been manipulated at a time of severe emotional damage. Austin Metcalf's father, obviously, I don't know if they've got a nudge unit in the USA, but and I don't know how much of this they're going to play, but what I've seen before, I haven't seen this video, but what I've seen of him saying before, no, he's not holding back. Fuck it. I mean, he's lost everything. Imagine losing your son. Imagine. And so he probably doesn't care if he gets locked up. Just imagine how awful that must be. Check him out.
So, starting from the beginning, April 2nd, I received a phone call from Coach Jackson and said, Jeff, all I know is Austin has been stabbed. I asked him where. He said Kirkendall Stadium. I immediately hung up the phone, and I made it there in about 4.5 minutes. When I arrived, it was pretty chaotic. A lot of police cars, a lot of people. I ran through probably 10 different officers who tried to stop me. When I did reach the track,
trying to stop him to tell him what to say.
The scene that I saw was my son, Austin, and they had a C machine on it, which actually it automatically pumps on your chest. But when I saw him, I knew he was gone. I prayed for a miracle. And as soon as that happened, I asked the ambulance, the EMTs, what hospital they were taking him to. And once they instructed me where they were going, I directed my attention to finding Hunter. And they said he was taken to the locker room in the field house. So I proceeded to go run over there. And I found Hunter, who was uncontrollably out of control, bawling, emotional wreck. So I have to try to gather him and maintain myself. And all we do is we pray. And I tell him, let's go. I'm taking you to the hospital. You're riding with me. And we get in the car and we're praying. Because I am praying for a miracle at this point, because
people, because we know what happened, I'm not just trying to get to what we would call the juicy bits, but this is stuff we kind of already know. So I'll skip it on a bit, because he doesn't hold back.
And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person, because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for every fucking thing.
Hang on, I just took it back a
Victim
bit.
statement impact. You abandoned your kid. You left him there. I guess he's no more use to you because you can't get any more GoFundMe money or GoSendGo money. You are grifters. You should be ashamed of yourself. You raised that child.
Yeah, he's talking about the parents of Karmelo Anthony.
And I swear to God, CPS should come check on those other 3 that you still have. You never once admitted or took accountability. You tried to play victim. The real victim is the one who died, not the one who shoved a knife in his chest. I come to pray with you and show the world we can close the gap of this unbelievable racial divide. And what'd you do? You widen the gap even further. You hire a convicted, baby-shaking felon who's only in it for the money, who gives you bad advice, kicks me out of a press conference.
Yeah, so we talked about this on the last stream. He turned up at the press conference and said to the parents of the kid who murdered his son, let's pray together. Let's try and, bring this together. but they'd hired one of these Black Panther larpers, and he actually says on live telly on the news, he actually says, Hunter Metcalf's father even come here. He had the gall to come here and try and rub it in. And it's like, what? And you can see even the parents in the background are looking a bit uncomfortable because it's like, hang on. And he's got his like Malcolm X jacket on, his Nation of Islam little tie on. And it's like, oh, here we go.
Oh, funny. I was somewhere I wasn't supposed to be, but I left. When asked, I didn't stab anyone. And then you proceeded to gaslight me with your convicted felon, quote, advocate? Minister? Minister of what? Minister irrelevant? Minister of bullshit? How about Minister fuck you? Y'all think I'm a saint? I'm no saint. I'm as human as you. I have emotions. Just because I'm a Christian doesn't mean I don't sin, because I don't walk on water and I don't turn into wine. And anybody else can, step up. Don't become kicking rocks in my backyard. Look in your own. The display of adults on the internet. If your children saw how you acted, would you be proud? Or is that what you teach them? Do you teach them that racism is okay? Do you teach them? Do you program your kids to hate? To kill? From day one, I said this was never about race. Please don't make it about race and don't politicize it. And what did you do? You chose both. The race card, black fatigue, it's real. I'm sorry. You have embarrassed your own culture and race. Don't get me wrong. We got white people that embarrass the shit out of me too. But you guys, you got a patent on that shit. And the only people that's going to change it are you. Don't blame the white person because we can't change it. But you're going to blame the white person for every fucking thing else. We're the bad ones. We're the one that held you down. Guess what? You can do everything in America that I can do. Tell me one thing you can't do that I can't do. We all have equal rights. What's it say? All men are created equal. The First Amendment protects free speech. I'm for it. Free speech doesn't guarantee you safety. Perfect example, Charlie Kirk, a man who I admired, looked up to. You know why? Because he could fight with words and logic. He didn't need fists, guns, or knives. No. He sat down and talked with you. How do you solve any situation when there's a problem? Communication. Charlie was an expert. That's one person I admit I would not want to debate. He was a walking chat GPT. But he held strong on his faith. He never wavered. His convictions were solid. He was a good man. Taken too soon also. Some people called him racist.
You can see how just absolutely fuming. He's been putting these out day after day after day. And it's wicked because you first think that the nudge unit got to him when I said don't make it about race and all that, and then he says no, only you can do something about this.
Jeff Metcalf, the father of Austin Metcalf, used his victim impact statement to address Karmelo Anthony directly after he was sentenced to 35 years after the court treated his act of survival as murder. The elder Metcalf reportedly described Austin as a boy, twin, son, leader, true warrior. He remembered him as a baby grabbing his finger. He talked about teaching him to fish, watching him take his first buck, and seeing him grow up too fast. He spoke of a scholarship created in Austin's memory and said his family has been robbed. And right there, his own words, Jeff Metcalf told on himself. In your own memorial language, you told us about the kind of white boyhood Austin was raised inside. It was a boyhood steeped in conquest language, hunting rituals, warrior fantasies, masculine toughness, and the romance of force. You told us about a child praised for not just being kind, curious, gentle, or careful, but for becoming a leader and a warrior in a racist culture where those words too often mean dominance. This psycho saw a grieving father describe his son as a leader and a warrior and freak the f out because his son is white and therefore that's like white supremacy or some shit. In their world, white people are like only allowed to hate themselves, right? That's why libs are often the way that they are, just like absolute cucks, just like rolling over and showing their bellies. Haha, white people can't dance. Haha, white people, like, they don't season their food. Because being anything other than that gets you treated like this. Reminder that this is a professor in a college teaching students right now, and you wonder why people are the way that they are.
It's insane. Those words came from a working professor, drilling this nonsense into an entire generation. It's absurd.
I swear we had it made in the 90s. I swear that was like peak normalcy. Do you feel that way? Maybe I'm just like a stupid millennial like nostalgia because I was a child back then and didn't know. I don't know. I kind of feel like race relations were better back then because it was all like, oh, we don't see color, and then they flipped it and they were like, actually, if you don't see color, you're racist. You have to acknowledge your white privilege and you're a colonizer. Like, what the f? I feel like my worldview's just been shattered. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't just all be in a circle and sing Kumbaya? What is this? Like, I was always taught from my parents, from my teachers, like, we shouldn't judge people on their skin color, blah, 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 blah. And like, were these people just not taught that? Were they not taught that? I feel like they were just taught from a young age, like, white people bad, like, it was just hammered into their fucking heads. And like, honestly, like, white people get told that in like university. Like, they go to college and they get told white people are bad, white people are bad. It's really upsetting that a family had to bury their child, and it's all being overshadowed by insane people trying to make it about race. In a normal world, it wouldn't be about race, but we don't live in a normal world. I would like to believe a majority of people don't believe in some like civil war, race war thing and still believe in the Kumbaya bullshit. Like, I just want to be like, okay, this is just a minority of crazy people on the internet. At least that's what I tell myself. So that was that video. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of my brain.
And that's exactly where I am at the moment. That's what I've been telling myself for a few years now, but it's starting to change. The chinks in the sort of narrative armor are starting to show. I think things might be far, far worse than certainly what I thought they were. I mean, just like I said, I checked out the social media. I searched for the hashtags and that to see whether she just found 5 or 6 or well 20, 30 of these. No, there's thousands of them with retweets, with likes, with replies, with people supporting them. Ozmeister, amazing, drops a lady. Seeing those tweets from those morons sticking up for that murdering bastard. Are you sure mental health doesn't exist? Now, I get your point, Ozmeister, but yeah, I'm never 100% about anything. But what I say is it's not pathological, it's behavioural, which actually makes it worse. Because if mental health did exist, if mental illness existed, well, then you could write it off. You could write it off as, oh, it's a disease. They've got a disease where they can't stop murdering people, like the insanity defence that has got people off of murder. But it isn't pathological. It's behavioural. It's a choice that has been made, and it's low impulse control and a lack of care for consequences, which is more frightening. I wish the mental illnesses did exist, because then we could find some metrics to test people, something a little bit more substantial than the fucking DSM-5, and we could separate them from people who aren't going to murder people. But no, it's behavioural. They're just like you and me. They make a decision and they act upon it. But what they don't do is consider the consequences and they don't consider the fact that that anger or whatever it is that they're feeling is going to make their decision making probably not as good as it should be. So why don't you let that anger subside a little bit before making a decision? One of the things I learned when I was about 35 at a rehab, I found a mentor at a rehab who changed my life. And he said to me, he said, don't make decisions when you're in extreme emotions, whether they're happy emotions, whether they're like jubilant emotions, or whether they're anger and hatred. And it's like, when Jerry Stahl wrote me that review the other day, I was running up and down the corridor of this house. I was like, ah! And I sat down at the computer and I put the mouse, the little cursor on the reply. And I just thought, whoa. You're buzzing your nuts off. You're whizzing your tits off. You're about to write to someone and you've been very carefully trying to sort of build a relationship with a very well-known and successful writer who's a hero of yours, and you're now going to start, oh my God, I feel so happy. I can't believe you said that. It's amazing. I'm going to put it on social media. Honestly, it's the best thing anyone's ever said about. I can't believe you said it's like Catcher in the Rye. And I don't. And then when I'm out of when the buzz wore off, about 3 days later, I'd have looked at that and been like, now you're a fan. Now I'm a fan. Now I'm like not the sort of bloke that he wants to talk to because I've acted like a 4-year-old girl. So I didn't. I deleted it and I thought, give it a couple of days. And then I wrote to him like an adult. I said, I really appreciate that. It's blown my mind a little bit, to be honest with you. And thank you very much. And that was it. And it's the same with anger. This is why I very rarely bite on social media. And when I have done, it's always turned out bad. Someone will say something shitty. And if it pisses me off, I'm like, well, you can. And I always regret what I've written. I always regret it because I'm not operating at my most efficient. I'm operating under anger. The emotion is dictating my behavior. So when I get something like that, I'll give it a few hours, go back to it. And usually, thankfully, these days, I just think, I'll just ignore it. I don't care. I've got better things to do than worry about your madness, your emotions. I'm not, one thing in life you do not have to do. You're not obliged to get involved with other people's dramas. And people will try to. They'll try and drag you into their dramas. And you can just, especially with social media, you can just ignore it. Just ignore it. Just like, don't want anything to do with that. People, we will end it there. It has been 2.5 hours. I promised myself I'll do an hour and a half. I've got to finish this short story. Listen, there's still 100 people here. When you get the email for the new short story, it's also got the paid subscription details at the end of the story. Have a look at it. If it might be your cup of tea, literally the price for a cup of tea a month. But the short story is brilliant. It's one of my best. It's up there with the Crack Gnome story, and it's up there with the French man. Some of you might remember that. All right, Shane, I will do that for you. I will do that. The grift has been awful, but that's all right. Sometimes it isn't. Let me go over here. I got a message from Rags the other day. He's out of hospital. They've pinned his feet all up. He stopped drinking, which I think is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Osmeister, for that donation. Much appreciated. I'll let you go, Packer. Look after yourself, son. Show Packer some love in the chat, people. Ta-da! Can't stream without him. When I send a message to his missus, when I slide into her DMs. And I'm like, ask Packer if he's up for streaming tonight, and I sit there for like 5 minutes and give please say yes. Because look at this, all this space and me here like, it's odd. I'm just gonna find something. If you haven't bought it yet, now would be a really good time to, because it's so high, it could push into that top 1,000 and then it just runs. It's fucking great. Go to Amazon, read some of the reviews and read the endorsements from Jerry Stahl, Peter Lloyd, Will Self. It's a cracking novel. People in the chat have read it. Packer's read it. Packer can put it down. Right. I will be putting your messages on the screen while the music plays. Look after yourselves, people. I want to thank everyone who donated. I want to thank Packer, of course. I want to thank all you lot in the chat for keep coming back to this stream. Anyone new here, subscribe if you want. I try and do as many streams as I can, but I'm very busy trying to get this book out for November. And it's a privilege and a pleasure to still be streaming after so long, after nearly 12 years. Look after yourselves. Let me wrap this up for you. I think you'll enjoy this. Oh, that was the wrong one. That's the one I wanted. 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 Bosh. You might recognize this. Yeah, man.
All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. The joy of loving is to live in the world of man. There's someone who's waiting for you. Soon the world will be yours for a toy. Music starts to play, night will turn to day. Darkness disappears when the one you love is near. You're in man. All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land are meant to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of man. There's a place that is waiting for you.
Hang on a minute, hang on. I've put a load of new emojis together. So members, most of you will have new emojis because you owe Lata, sis. Lata said to me, can you get some new emojis done? Because you've only got up to like 3 years and there's people who've been members for 5-6 years. And also I didn't realise if you're a member and you quit being a member and join again, it adds to it. You don't start from zero again. So I've made 5 new emojis. So if you're on YouTube now, you might have noticed you've got a new emoji. Most of you have got that tricolette or something. It's the sort of 3 spirals. But there's 4 other ones. There's a blue goat skull. I want to keep the other secret, and when people get there, you'll get them. But if you look in the YouTube chat, which I can't see because I see StreamYard, you'll notice that a few of you who've been members for a long time have got new emojis. And yes, I made them, but Lata's give me a kick up the arse to get them done. Back to the music.
A world where the best in life is free, where time is always spring, happiness is king. Dreams you dream come true when the one you love loves you. You're in man. All the world loves a lover. All the girls in every land, a man to know. Joy of loving is to live in the world of mankind.
Apparently Rags is streaming tomorrow. Lovely. Let me just see if I did get all these. Yeah, I did. Are you seeing has anyone noticed their new emoji? Let me know in the chat if they've gone live. They should have done. Thank you, Packer, for that donation. Hello, Barney. Turned up a bit late, mate. I'm sure you've used that gag before when you've turned up a bit late. Good Lord. Right, that's it. I might do a stream tomorrow. I'm going out with the missus. I've got to get this short finished. I've got so much to do tomorrow that I was meant to do today. No way, JP has got the blue go. Incredible. Anyone got that trick? It's trickolet, I think. There's another word for it, which is a bit longer. Anyone seen that? Let me have a look on the... How do I do that? I don't even know how to do it. But, yeah, so I've done that. Like a YouTuber. Look after yourselves, people. I might see you tomorrow for an hour or something, but I've got so much on. Look after yourselves in a massive way. If you donate via that thing there's a link in the description. You can do it when the video stops. You'll get they've extended it to a minute, so I'll do you a minute video. Look after yourselves and enjoy your weekend, and don't forget to tell the people you love that you love them, because they need to hear it. Hoita.